This is The Filter on iHeart Podcasts Canada.
Oh my goodness, the boys of Marianas Trench are now men. Welcome, fellas. The boys of summer. Welcome, Marianas Trench in the studio. So glad to see you again. I was a host on MTV Canada back in the day. You guys came through the door many, many times. Nice to see everybody still working, still doing it, still kicking ass.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, cheers. So you've got the 6th album, Haven. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been working on it for about the last year and a half, and I'm at least speaking for myself, I'm so glad to have gotten through it. And I'm really looking forward to it coming out and us getting back on the road and actually playing some new material.
Okay, so let's talk about this album, your 6th studio album together. How has it changed from day one to now? Like, when did you guys even come together? How long have you been Marianas Trench?
Well, the first album came out at the end of 2006.
Correct. Wow.
So I guess about that long.
No math majors in the room.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the process itself has changed all that much as it's just sort of refined, I suppose, and perhaps streamlined a bit.
You kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work over the duration, and then cut out the stuff that doesn't work next time to be more efficient.
Yeah, and I think the key, at least for me as a writer, the key is to just keep trying to challenge yourself and not trying to just rehash the same ideas over and over again, and just try and focus on like reinventing and trying to surprise yourself.
Well, that's an interesting idea. Let's talk about that. You're writing music 2006, so we all did the math. It's 18 years ago. So a lot of your fans were young, middle school, high school, whatever, grown up with you. Are you writing for them? Are you writing for a new audience, or is it come one, come all?
I think it's always come one, come all for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think that we are better when I think that the songs that come out are better when I just write for myself and for how I'm feeling about whatever subject it is that we're talking about, and just try and write from a very honest place. And luckily that seems to be what people want from us anyway. I think as soon as you're writing songs for what you think that other people want to hear, you're probably actually going to leave them out completely, because they're not going to. It's hard for people to identify when someone's trying to write something for them to identify with. If that makes sense.
If you're calculating it, it's hard to make it come or feel like it's coming from your heart and soul too, and then I don't think it connects as much.
And I would imagine also, like, there's so much talk of nostalgia in 2024, but that's not what you're going for. It's yeah, you knew us, you've known us for 18 years. This is our 6th album. We're the band. We're putting out new music. This is
reinvented once again.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm kind of getting at there. That's really interesting. I'd love to play a little game with you guys, and this will be perfect with your history. It's called First Gig, Worst Gig, Best Gig, Next Gig. Okay, so
I like this. This is fresh. I like that.
Marianas Trench, first gig.
First one where I'm the new guy. A couple of years before that first album came out. First gig with all of us, I probably would have been a place called the Backstage Lounge on Granville Island. I think that was my first one with you guys.
Actually, I think your first show with us was a showcase for Virgin Records.
Oh my gosh, it was. And I was so my first show was a showcase for,
Oh, and explain what a showcase is, because those are kind of like fraught with nerves. They're not the greatest audiences, so
They're
explain
not.
that.
So there's a couple different kinds of showcases. The kinds that we did, it's funny that this just came up yesterday. So basically, it's like what you want is someone from a record label to come see your then unknown band in front of a huge crowd of adoring people. That's the dream. What actually happens is you fly to LA, or someone from LA flies to you, and you play an entire set for one person watching you with a clipboard, and it's the driest, weirdest thing. And it's very like, what do I do between songs?
Right.
What do I say? Do I banter with this one single guy who's got his arms crossed?
Do you pretend like you're performing to hundreds, or
I mean, while you're playing the songs, you try. That was our thing. Like, let's just play like there's 1,000 people here, but you feel like an idiot doing it. The show that was Mike's first show was actually in a club, but there was a version thing. And I remember you turning to me after being like, during the middle of the show, I was just thinking, this is the most important show of my entire life. And that's definitely not what you should be thinking.
The worst way to go into anything.
Funny thing is that absolutely nothing came out of those showcases for us. We played a handful of them over in the early stages of our career, and we obviously had not figured out how to do them correctly, because Nobody was interested.
So don't take this as a cautionary tale, not as any type of instruction.
But that's kind of interesting. Like, it's those showcases. A lot of is like the opportunity meets like where they're looking for at the time. And if that didn't happen to be you at that time, it doesn't make you any less of a band. But I'm sure when you're young, it's like, oh my God, we suck.
Well, and it's difficult too because they're not seeing a crowd that is there to see you, so they're guessing at who wants to listen to your music as well, right? So
it's not like nowadays
there's
where
a lot of blanks to fill in.
You can show clips and your social media. You can look how popular we are.
Yeah,
Back in the day. Yeah. Kids today, they don't understand. I remember sending I started in stand-up, and I remember sending VHS copies to the David Lettermans of the world.
Yeah,
never hear anything back. Right. It just goes off into the ether.
You gotta try.
You gotta try.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's first gig. Worst gig. A lot of people can't do this question because too much ego. I'm hoping you guys can.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Humble yourselves.
Are you kidding me? I'm just like, how do we narrow it down?
Yeah.
This is probably the best one.
Look, my vote is we played a show in Ottawa, and then the very next morning had to drive. I don't have to get too many details here, but around 6 or 7 hours to the next show.
This is back in the van days,
yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
This is after Pomegranate Night.
This is the show.
And I remember this is the worst one. And we were exhausted. And I remember walking into the promoter's like, hey, we got to talk to you. We got to talk to you in here. So we walk into the back room, and he's like, I know the contract says you're getting paid $50, but you're only getting paid $25. And I was like, I don't care. It's not a big deal breaker. We're so poor, it doesn't matter.
That was for all of you to enjoy?
Yeah.
25
yeah.
gross. That's not net.
Oh, that's
not
gross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the booking agent made $2.50.
Oh my God, $25.
Oh, either it was 100 down to 50, whatever.
100 down to 50.
Yeah,
100
down to 50. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was $25.
$25.
And it's like, wow, they're really budgeting here. And then we played our show. Why do you take over for this part?
One of my favorite aspects of this experience was all four of us sing in the band, but they didn't have enough mic stands for everybody. So for Mike Ailey, what they did is they had a half a mic stand, so it didn't have the boom part on top. It was just the lower 3 feet. So he had to play the whole show like this.
To hear.
Not exaggerating.
He would
like
sing
that?
into the mic down there.
And you didn't even get one.
And it was some sort of battle of the bands or something, and we were this featured artist in the middle of it, and we went on, and there was literally nobody in the room, and the guy was like, all right, start playing. And there was some high school kids outside, and so we start playing, and then one kid came inside and went, hey guys, when does the show start? And Mike was like, this is the show. It has started. It has begun. This is the show. It has started.
And he's like, you guys want me to go get some people to come in?
Yeah. This one
Yes, please.
sweet kid was like, you guys want some
You guys want some people to come watch you? Okay,
That'd be
I'll go
great.
get somebody.
Can you get some people? See, everybody sees the big stuff and the successes, but nobody.
And I
nobody
also
sees
remember
this.
there was one single bathroom, and what had happened in there was what
Yikes.
could only be described as utter disaster. And you couldn't go in there.
There was also
repeatedly.
There was also someone who was watching us somehow got their hands on one of our CDs. Maybe we were handing them out for free.
To the lineup.
And then I remember after the show getting back to the band van and seeing someone take the CD and look and just be like, fuck this.
That's like, look like they suck. As you're getting headed $25 to share.
Yeah. And you slept 1 hour the night before to get there. Yeah.
Okay, that's worst gig. Let's talk best gig.
There are a lot of them.
I believe that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those.
Maybe the first time we played a sold out show in London was good, even though it wasn't huge. That was a landmark for me anyway. Yeah.
Something at a show in another country is always awesome. The first time you're there.
I believe that.
Or anytime you're there.
I think for me it's perhaps even just a little more modest. Like the first time playing a show and looking out and realizing you don't personally know everybody in the audience.
Right. It's not just friends and family.
It's not just friends and family, right?
That's awesome.
And that's that very first hurdle that you have to get past. And
like regular people bought a ticket.
People that
People
I
don't
don't
know you.
know
Yeah.
and that none of us know are here, and they actually know some of the words to some of the songs. It's a very modest dream, but that was a really big one. That was a really big moment where you look out and you're like, wow, some people are actually listening to this music that we've made and not out of obligation.
I remember the first time we toured the States properly. We were in a bus and we were playing, I think it was an Ever After, headlining our own tour and playing show after show. And it was like, we were clicking. We were so good because we played 100 shows in that album cycle. And I remember every day being like, this might be the best show we've ever played. We were so in sync, and we get there every album cycle. But that was probably the first time we'd done that
Speak
much
for
at
yourself,
that point.
buddy. I'm still working on it.
But that feeling of playing these really packed clubs after playing arenas here, but the small club shows felt like really like visceral.
Well, because you had graduated to arenas, and then it's almost like going to AAA when you're a major leaguer, and we could crush this.
Yeah.
What a great feeling!
It was just flowing really well.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. Next gig, you've got the album. It is out. Haven, 6th album. Next gig, when can we see you again?
September 12th, Berkeley, California is the first show of the tour.
Yeah, so talk to me about this tour.
Well, we got 44 shows between beginning of September and Christmas, and we've got a whole bunch of new songs to play. So we've been working our butts off right now to get the new record up and running live, and I'm super excited. Like anytime we get to play new songs for the first time in 5 years, it's very exciting, and definitely keeps it fresh on stage.
I'm definitely freaking out a little bit about lyric memorization. It's one thing when you add in just one new song, but to add in a whole bunch of new songs, and I sort of famously am not great at nailing all the lyrics.
I've seen a few clips.
Anyway, I will make mistakes. I always say that, like, if I make a mistake in the lyrics, at least people know that we're not lip syncing.
That's right.
And they know that we're singing for real, and to make mistakes is part of the human experience. But I just happen to have a lot of human experience.
Very human.
But you know, if I make a mistake, I lean right into it, and I'm just in on the joke, and I don't get frustrated. I just laugh, and The annoying thing is for me to learn the lyrics. The only thing I can do is just listen to the album over and over and over again. And if there's one thing I've already heard a lot of, having also engineered, mixed, and produced the album and written it, I've heard it a lot, guys, and it's just not getting in there. And if there's one thing I don't want to listen to while I drive my car around the city right now, it's that record, and it's the only thing I'm listening to.
It's also a super sweet look when you pull up at a stoplight and there's Josh listening to his own song. Oh man, this is awesome.
I forgot to tell you guys this. Actually, like a week ago, I was driving my car and I pulled up, and there was a car beside me was blasting one of our songs.
Oh, love that.
And I pulled up next to them, and they looked over and saw that it happened to be me, and I just said, "You have terrible taste in music," and then I just drove off.
Well, the new album, 6th album. So nice to see you guys again.
Nice to see you too, man.
Yeah, it's called Haven, Marianas Trench.
Thanks for listening to The Filter, an iHeart Podcasts Canada production. Subscribe to The Filter wherever you get your podcasts.